we are not winging it when it comes to high school, but we also aren't overloading it. So today we're going to talk some things about high school. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna. If you are new here, we're a homeschooling family of 4. We are entering our 10th year of homeschool, which will also be 9th grade for my oldest child. So it is our first year of high school going into the 2026-2027 homeschool year. And I want to come here, and before we start sharing individual pieces and schedules and structurings, I first want to talk with you about our big picture planning. So that is what this video is about. It is about our homeschool, high school, scaffolding, theories, philosophies. So let's go. Before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. If I talk about it, I will try to remember to link it down below. I have been doing research on research on research on research on research for a couple of reasons. You guys know, if you've been here for any period of time, we're in Texas. Texas has oversight when it comes to homeschool situations. And so up to this point, we have never had anybody look over a single thing that we have done when it comes to any aspect of educational integrity, consistency, anything like that. I assure you, if we did, we would be killing it, because that is something that I take pride on. It's very important to us that our educational home is, the best that it can possibly be. So I assure you, if somebody was checking it, I'd be doing great. I would probably still sweat buckets, and I don't know how some of you guys do that, but I do also feel like I need to be telling somebody something somewhere along the way. And I think a lot of kids in Texas would be better served if there was somebody to tell them some things along the way. But that's a different conversation. So we are approaching high school, and high school is like for real and legit, because I need to know that I can get my homeschooler not just to and through high school, but to and through high school on a path that can get them into a college or professional training or whatever it is that comes next, because those people will 100% be judging, evaluating, and critiquing what we have done every step of the way. So I do feel like as we are wrapping up our 8th grade year, we have laid a foundation that is chef's kiss, solid, high quality, awesome, and amazing. But I need to be sure that I am also moving forward into and through high school in a manner that will get us into and through college, if that's the path, but anywhere. I don't care if she goes and becomes a warty bump on a frog's back. I'm going to make sure that the education is stellar, and if she has to apply to that frog, the frog will think she came from the best place ever. So with all that being said, let's talk about where we started. Well, where we started was wallowing in a pool of stress, rocking back and forth in the corner, but then we got it together. For me, I like to have information. I do. It makes me feel so good. It calms whatever inner parts of me need that. And so for me, when I don't know something, I first try to figure out what I don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. Then I figure out the things that I need to plug into that formula of what I don't know to know where I want to go. And that gives me calm, warm, fuzzy feelings. So the very first thing that I did is I said, I homeschool this child who I would like to go to college. What is expected of the children here in Texas should they go to college? What is the educational map and plan? And I found a link for what that is here in Texas, because I feel like if I'm equating what I'm doing at home versus if I sent her to school, the Texas standards would be the ones to adhere to. I know, it's wild and crazy, right? So first and foremost, I looked at what is expected of the Texas standards, and I printed it, because if it's not printed, it's not real. I'm an old lady and I like it printed. If I cannot touch the paper I am reading, it does not count. It's all pretended make-believe. So I printed it and I stuck it in a folder because I was gathering my information. Step 1, I printed my plan. Okay, so the graduation plans, the requirements, the endorsements, all that stuff, did that. Okay, great. Bueno. Sidebar, recently, this year, the law changed in Texas. In Texas, there is an auto-admit policy to state schools. The top 10% of every graduating class is auto-admitted to state schools. Some of them have waivers and things like that, like UT doesn't let, there's things, right? There's loopholes always. But there was never a path like that for homeschool students, which makes sense because automatically they're valedictorian. They're also bottom of the class, but is unfair because there's just not something that is equitable, but there now is. And so now colleges have to, state schools have to release, I think by fall of this year, for the next year or the year after that, they have to release what their standards are going to be. And so most of them have chosen an SAT score or an ACT score that is like you hit that's considered auto admit for homeschool students. So that's great. So that is a path for us. That is an avenue. However, we still need transcripts and all of the things that are going to go along with building a wildly successful high school career, a package of my child to get her into college. So state standards. We started with state standards, okay? And that right now is what we are targeting. We are not targeting specific schools, even though I did do some research on which ones would allow, for example, American Sign Language as a language other than English, as opposed to definitely a foreign language. So I did a little deep diving on that when trying to kind of map out the scaffold. So the first thing I did was start with our state standards. The next thing that I did, because there was a very brief moment in history, a puff in the wind, where she considered applying to a magnet school that is here by us. And this magnet school is a performing and visual arts magnet school. So this school, basically the premise is that they have academics for like half the day, and then they work on their performance pathway the other half. So like dance class in the afternoon, school in the morning, which is great. This school specifically, very, very, very still rigorous academic standards. So I am looking at all of the information here and all of the information here. I also went ahead and pulled some homeschool student information, which is easily accessible from local community colleges. So like Houston Community College has now changed to Houston City College because they're offering some four-year programs, but they have a homeschool pathway for dual credit students. So found out information on dual credit, state standards, and then understood the makeup of a local magnet school, which again, because these are our alternative pathways, it made sense to me to start with where those are, what that path looks like. So I did go ahead and make a spreadsheet of just easy things, right? So broken down by grade. I went ahead and I do have like a pre-9th grade because, for example, in 8th grade, she's doing a geometry, which would be a credited math program for high school. So I do have a section for pre-9th grade credits. I went ahead and made a spreadsheet that has the required credits for an endorsement, a Texas state endorsement in the arts, because if she went to a school, that is the path she would pursue at this point in her life, would be the arts endorsement for her performing arts. So this makes sense to me. So looking at the endorsement and the highest possible graduation plan, looking at all of the things that are required, how many maths, how many Englishes, all of the things, I built a spreadsheet based on checking, 4 English boxes, 4 math boxes, and mapping it out by grade level. So thinking very big, very long term, and honestly, starting our high school planning process with the farthest end goal in mind, and then working our way back in the manner that we think this is gonna go. Please keep in mind, it will change. It absolutely will, because it always does, and it can change at any moment. But right now, what our homeschool path plan looks like is that pre-9th grade, we do already have some credits we've accumulated. And that going forward in our brains, we know what we need to do moving forward into high school to check the boxes. We are going to take an approach that is similar to the magnet program because she does do so many hours and so many things every week that do fall under blanket umbrellas of vocal or dance, things like that. We will be utilizing, because it is very important to me that first we are honoring the true path of the child, okay? So yes, I have all of the information I need on what's required, but what is right now currently in life is lots and lots of hours in performing arts every single week. So it is important to me that we find a way to package that like she would if she went to the magnet in a manner that is transcriptable. So we will be taking those things that do count as those arts specific endorsement extras and plugging those in a way that will fit what is actually happening in her real life without trying to jump through hoop on hoop on hoop. But we will also be checking those high academic boxes. Again, in my brain, this is just a homeschool version of what she would be doing at that magnet school. Now, there are many programs that we use, and you've heard me say this. Our math program currently using Denison has 2 more levels. Our language arts program, Michael Clay Thompson, has 2 more levels. In my brain, we are fully in control of the next 2 years of her educational pathway. So for her freshman year and her sophomore year. So we will control her freshman year and her sophomore year exclusively. Okay? And we will choose prioritizing her high value academics and then joining that with what she's already interested in, already doing, already building a resume around her performing arts. And we will marry those 2 together. We have full and complete access to do that for the next 2 years. Then in our brains, on our plan for her junior and senior year, she will likely transition to dual credit, wherever that happens to be at. There will probably be some things that we will still have some control over, maybe her foreign language, maybe for sure her performance art stuff being roped into that. But at that point, her academics will be outsourced to community college for dual credit. That's the plan. This is our plan. It can change at any point. We can upend it entirely. But the way that we started our high school scaffolding was this way. We looked at what would be expected in, the normal outside world, and then how we can modify what we're doing to fit that, and then what it realistically looks like in our home, in our lives, and on her path that she is currently on. So this is how we have decided to structure our high school for homeschool going forward. When I say it like this, it doesn't feel like a lot, but it also feels like a lot, but simultaneously it isn't a lot. We're just checking boxes. We're finding the things to fit the boxes, to check the boxes on this random spreadsheet that I made, laid out by grade by year, just giving us a very loose idea of what was coming ahead, what was next, what we need to be on the lookout for. Again, I might go ahead and drop it in. I might go ahead and drop in a graphic just if you have an idea, if you can't picture what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's pretty enough for that, but we'll do it, okay? I'll go ahead and share my brain vomit to spreadsheet situation. But so the next step for me is grade keeping transcripts. I'm very fortunate to have a platform here where things are told to me, things are shown to me, things are provided to me. I have a brand new and amazing resource that I will be talking about in the very next video that I am talking about here. Free grade keeping, free transcripts. I know. I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to show it to you. I haven't even looked at the website yet because I want to give you my real-time user feedback. So I will be screen sharing and grabbing and plugging it in and hoping it makes sense next video, okay? So if you want to know what that is, if you have any questions, let me know on any of this. This is my plan. And no, I haven't done this before. So if you've got absolutely anything to offer, drop down in the comments, help a girl out. Because so many of you, you've got kids either right behind mine or right at the same age as mine, or you haven't done this as long, or you're coming to it, or you're seasoned and you've got a kid who's gone off and become the first neurosurgeon, engineer, bridge designer, architect that ever did walk the face of the planet, and you homeschooled them and it worked out perfectly. So any of that, please let us know, because we need the support. We need the kind, sage words of wisdom that you can offer those of us behind us, or those of us coming on it, or any experience, honestly, would be wonderful to have, because It's heavy, it's real, and it's going to be graded and evaluated, which is new to us. So, okay, that's my high school plan. I will hopefully have inserted the spreadsheet picture in here somewhere, but it is just a scaffold, okay? It's just college prep, high school scaffolding with just as much information as I could gather to make myself feel good and cohesive in the thought process and the plans and the next steps and what we're using and where we're going and how we're plugging it in and the ideas and the philosophy. And I feel like by going ahead and mapping it all out, no matter how loosely it is, it'll help me maintain a focus on the true, honest philosophy of the process and just keep me grounded along the way. Okay, that's the goal. That's the intent. I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments, and please go find me there and give me anything you've got to offer me. Or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. Guys, I really hope that entering this high school realm is fun, that we enjoy the process, that it gets her wherever it is she's intent to wind up, and that we have done both a good job, but a job that makes us feel good every step of the way. And I know that, again, because you guys do share with me and because I love sharing with you, I'm so happy to share with you that together we are making everyday magic. Bye, guys.